Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I got one
Peyton,
crazy
turn your
question.
camera on for us.
Yeah. Oh,
Ta-da!
you look amazing.
Today, I am the Invisible Man.
Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Absolutely
Yep.
amazing. So, I don't sport, but what the fuck happened to the Cowboys?
They
Holy
met the Detroit Lions and got
Dude.
their asses whooped.
Dude, I can tell you, I saw the funniest fucking meme. It said the Lions were beating the Cowboys so bad they started throwing it to their linemen. They did. It was like
They
free
did.
plays. Like they threw it to the
Oh my
linemen.
gosh. What's funny is they took Dak Prescott out in the fourth quarter and put him on the bench. They lost 49-6.
9.
49-9.
47-9, I think something like that. So the biggest loss in AT&T Stadium history. Yeah, I like it. So Peyton has lost. Yeah, he looks good too, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's awesome. Man, I sat out there cleaning up a lot of timber this weekend, and I split probably 3 cords of wood, getting ready for the damn winter coming up. We don't get that bad of winter, but I love having big ass bonfires to sit outside when it gets cool off. We get like one bad winter a year. So, Loren, tell us a little bit about your situation. How are things in Asheville, North Carolina, and the likes? Because I know it was. Thanks for highlighting me, Peyton.
Give it a second. You're still talking.
Anybody looking for a producer? We got your guy.
Oh my god. Moving on.
But Loren, tell us a little bit about how are you guys doing? How are things there since you were in the mix of it all?
Thanks for asking. We are first and foremost safe and together, my husband and I. So that's the most important thing. We're safe, we're together. Everything else is fixable, right? And so we had about 40 volunteers from a church outside of Atlanta come and show up at our door yesterday. They were actually helping us with a lot of the trees that had fallen down, but really the reason why they were there is because 2 of the neighbors on our street over 90 had trees go through their house.
Oh.
So they were up on the roof and fixing and doing, and I swear I had tears running down my eyes because that's what it's all about, right? Just the random acts of kindness and generosity of strangers. And so we got out there and helped them out, and it was a beautiful thing. So I'm today in a friend's house who also loaned us their place because they have running water. So there's all that.
Awesome.
I'm grateful for everything that's still here and everything that we're learning from this experience.
It's crazy.
I've been happen, but man, it really does bring out the best in people,
100%.
And the worst too. Now you're gonna have all these contractors coming through and
scamming,
saying, hey, give me your $20,000, I'll replace your roof. You'll never see them again.
Yeah, we haven't had that, thankfully. Everybody here is truly about how can we help? How can we make this better? And how can we keep you safe and hopefully hydrated?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Just wild. And it's crazy now that in Florida, that second potential hurricane's coming through just to fall in the same damn path.
Yeah.
I know like Keith's ex-wife is she's still in the hospital, barricaded in, or
no, she's out now. Most of the hospital employees got locked in for a period of 3 or 4 days. So she's back home. But the Orange City where her hospital is, they were 4 feet underwater.
Oh,
so, the ER department's always on the first floor, and they were having to barricade sandbags and stuff like that to be able to accept patients.
Jeez.
Just imagine. I mean, there's nothing you can prepare for.
All the vehicles out in the thing, like you couldn't see their tires.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. It's just that, it's that flooding that comes through that people don't always see.
Yeah.
So
it's like what I like about being in Texas. I hate the summers, but we don't get all this craziness. So
yeah. So listen, I had to thank somebody for sending me a hat. I got a new hat for you guys can't see, a little Tommy Bahama hat was sent to me.
Who's probably
my biggest fan.
Johnny?
Our mom. So
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I actually found this hat over the weekend, and the best part about this hat is if you take it off and you look up here, there's a
Ooh!
drink recipe. There's a drink recipe,
Oh,
That's awesome.
and it's for a Baja margarita.
That's awesome. Well,
So when I get too drunk to remember how to make a drink, I just got to take off my hat.
well, if we're gonna do hat things, I waited because I know Loren knows ABC really well. Ashley Beck Queller, you pain in my ass, got me a hat too because of a damn comment said at this summit. This is the worst
Go,
hat ever.
Ashley.
So I got the Care Bears hat.
Oh, I love how you double hatted.
Yeah.
What is that? Is it like teddy bear material?
Oh yeah, dude. It's all fluffy and furry, and dude, it's got hearts.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's
Yeah. Yeah. So that's gonna be a thing.
See,
I look tough and professional on this.
Listen, Julie, I already asked him. I'm like, the Lions put on the biggest ass whooping of the year to the worst team on the planet, and he wears an insignia hat. I'm not happy this morning.
Yeah.
where's his Lions hat at? Come on.
Yeah.
man.
Wore it last week.
So
Yeah.
actually, Kevin, it's Tenderheart. That's why I got the hat because I actually knew that it was Tenderheart, the best damn Care Bear there is. So
Oliver knows what's up.
oh,
She did
Oliver,
nail
I
it.
hate you. All right,
We only
thanks.
let Oliver in because he brought his wife, right?
I hope so.
All right. Today we're playing Caption This. So I'm going to give you all an AI generated image, and then y'all are going to have to come up with the caption that you would post below it.
Oh,
Understood?
Lord.
yes.
We've done this a few times before on the show.
Caption
So at least
this.
Donnie, Keith, and Bernie should understand how to play this game.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You would think.
And then for fun, I added what the AI prompt was in the next slide. I'll show you what I
The
wrote.
start of the Saturday night at the Bovine Farm.
No,
That's a
that's
good
not
one.
even close. That's called
Sunday
Sunday morning
Monday?
breakfast right there.
Brunch.
Sunday breakfast. Yeah.
Bovine brunch.
Bovine brunch. I like that one best.
I just said assorted wine and meat on a picnic table. I thought was good enough. And this is what AI gave me. Some of these are good with the AI prompts, and some of them I look at it sideways and I'm like, is that really what that is?
Wow.
Oh gosh, I gotta be careful what I say.
No.
That's a first. I don't think he's ever been careful.
Yeah.
Uh,
Everybody's shocked that you know the Care Bears, Donnie.
hey, I only know the
trust
one.
me. Yeah, growing up, he had that Care Bear with a heart on it, and he took that thing everywhere.
Yeah. No, actually, I have Buffalo Bill up on the shelf. That's the one I took everywhere.
Oh, that's right.
Him and had another bear named Rufus.
Doesn't Buffalo Bill have a heart on though?
No.
Hey,
I said
easy.
heart.
Oh, okay.
TTT.
Yeah.
Liquid courage and vinegar that sours.
Or vinegar that sours.
Yeah. I got nothing for this one, Pate.
I don't either. This is
That's what
Dog
laptop-
working in an office.
okay.
I had almost the wrong words come out of my mouth.
Super pussy.
Well, those were the words I was trying not to say.
Keith
All
is
right,
that
all right,
little
I'm back. I'm back.
Keith always says his inside voice outside.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you got Super Kitty
Super
and
Cat.
Yeah, Julie said Super Cat.
Wonder Cat
Oh.
and Super Cat.
I like it. Cat, super cat flying through the sky with the cityscape below.
Yes,
But you're like, these are like the most detailed descriptions I've ever seen in my life.
That's what I learned from Babs. If I talk to ChatGPT, I have to be descriptive, but maybe I shouldn't do that
Yeah,
whenever
but
I'm giving
for business, but not for a fucking morning show.
Oh,
okay. Here's my guess.
Uh-huh.
A random red bearded dude holding a red cup in a bug through a movie with balloons in the background.
That's a good
How'd I do?
guess. It's pretty good.
wow. My buddy Joe.
Yeah,
Like-
Joe's on the left.
What's up with his eyeball, though?
I don't know.
Well, if you're
wow.
drinking as much as Joe has, it's probably not there.
So a leprechaun gnome Viking at a pub crawl.
It's a dwarf at a college party.
Wow, that's your father-in-law you're talking about.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Jolly Folly, somebody said. Caption these.
Portfolio rocket.
Donnie cries on stage.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Reason for Donnie's tears.
I don't see a goat anywhere on any one of those ships.
And bottles of Captain Morgan. Harry
It's
Potter.
gonna be a
Y'all
ship
know there's
on
a
the high
sorting hat on
seas
that damn
in the
pirate
clouds.
There's a sorting hat on the pirate ship?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Come sail
A
away.
pirate ship on cloudy seas.
Ship happens.
Yes.
Ship happens. That's awesome.
Sailing through the clouds as if it were flying, and then it doesn't look like it's flying.
That was my next guess.
Yeah, I know it was.
Haha, just kidding. I'm a girl.
Wow.
Knights of the Round Table were all men. That's who's the girl that faked being a man?
The most
Joan of
famous
Arc.
Joan of Arc, yeah.
Joan of Arc. Yeah, that's Joan of Arc.
Oh.
I bet she whooped
Joan of
somebody's
Arc
ass.
taking the SATs.
Taking the SATs.
Yeah, really kind of weird having a knight in full armor playing
Trying
on
to type on a keyboard, yeah.
right.
Oh, we don't get the answer.
No, I showed you
It
these.
said knight at a keyboard.
Trying to use a computer.
Okay.
Peyton's
Keith,
last
just- you
girlfriend
can't read.
or Peyton's
That's-
last date
That's
or
accurate.
Peyton's current girlfriend.
That
This is called
more accurate.
speed dating in Nashville, North Carolina.
Oh, Mulan was another badass that pretended to be a man.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. So it looks like the people at the bar in the back are just normal people.
Yeah. Just an alien and a human having a coffee at a cafe. You know, classic Sunday mornings, Monday mornings.
Did you do these?
there's Alex.
Oliver
Did
in
you
the
do these?
morning.
Yeah. That's Oliver in the morning. Yeah, yes. Alex, whatever you say is right.
All right, these are kind of I'll do this last one and then we'll move on.
Wait, how many legs does that thing have? Or
Yeah,
not
right?
have?
Oh, whoa. I didn't even notice
At
that.
least 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5.
Peyton on a 6-leg llama.
5.5.
What does that mean?
No idea.
What did you ask?
And is it trying to kick a cactus?
It might be. I just said cowboy riding a llama.
Cowboy
through the
riding a
desert.
llama through a desert.
You know,
You know what? It's because it's a Dallas cowboy and they always fuck shit up.
Oh, the alien one is probing questions.
Ouch.
That's good.
Ouch.
Oh,
Rick, that's awesome.
The Donnie Llama.
that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Our chat's doing better than y'all are today.
Right?
That's most days, though.
Slow, bro. That's awesome.
All right.
Oh, roll that footage, bro.
Oh, no. I know I saved it. It's sitting here somewhere. We're looking.
Peyton, that's your out loud voice.
Let me grab it. It's here somewhere.
You just got to do it live. Do it live.
This is Loren Greiff, founder of Portfolio Rocket. Career coaching and strategy to get people over 40 into executive positions faster and help them earn more. Portfolio Rocket focuses on powerful, actionable steps that drive change and yield results. Not just adapting to change, but anticipating it and harnessing it. And today, she gets the hot seat with the Success Champions team.
Loren Greiff.
Thank you.
I have the
Thank
same
you.
fucking problem, Lauren. I have a horrible last name that nobody can fucking pronounce. I've just learned to never give a shit about it. I mean, I was on the news introduced as David Brown. And so I just fucking go with it.
I'm not going with it because I don't want to bring any grief to anybody.
Oh, well, you know, growing up as a kid, you just listened for Donnie and then something that began with a B. Keith's trying to reboot his computer because his shit shut all the way down. Yeah. So, well, Loren,
day of technology.
I'm telling you, technology, my shit all tried to shut down on me. I wonder if it's something with StreamYard. So no damn clue, but we're here. So, Loren, do me a favor, introduce yourself briefly. Just a quick highlight of what you do, and then walk us through what's the biggest thing that we can help you with today.
Absolutely. So, hi, I'm Loren Greiff. I am the founder of Portfolio Rocket. Portfolio Rocket is a consultancy that helps executives over 40 in career transition land faster and earn more. So the problem that we solve is workarounds with archaic methodologies such as applicant tracking systems, building overdependency on recruiters, and also being able to navigate in today's world where there are so many challenges and hurdles, whether it be ageism, whether it be not being able to articulate your value proposition, whether it's a lack of thought leadership or an atrophied network. All of those things live under our programs and ways in which we are able to help a lot of executives who have never, ever, ever advocated or owned their job search before.
So basically, you take executives that were making great money, they're now in the job market, and you help them get placed. Not like a recruiter does, but you help them find a job.
I actually help them to find their own jobs, right? So I help them to understand where the opportunities are, some of which are never posted. So we know that over 80% of the opportunities that are out there for those folks at the executive levels are not showing up on job boards. So they're not in plain sight, and they are also places that they can earn positions, even if they are creating new ones from scratch.
Now, this is going to be interesting because I've never had to go look for a job. Jobs always found me.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie, did you ever have to go find a job?
Oh yeah, I have. Absolutely. I've worked with a couple of executive recruiters as well. It's an interesting process. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there obviously looking for work right now. And that's actually my first question to you, Loren. What really is the significant difference or value of working with you as opposed to an executive recruiter?
Thanks for asking. That's a really important and good question, because the default is, well, I'll just have a recruiter go and place me. So first and foremost, recruiters, and I was one for many, many, many years. I worked for, arguably one of the most well-recognized executive search firms. And recruiters work only with the inventory that's right in front of them. They are working on open requisitions. They are there to make a placement as fast as they possibly can. They are also there to serve their client who has given them, who is aligned with them for this specific role. And their job is not necessarily to advocate for you, although it doesn't mean that they aren't. It means that they have a first and foremost driver, which is to get that person filled. So they're going to make their commission, whether they place you, Bernie, whether they place you, Donnie, whether they place whoever. And the issue that was the catalyst for why I left recruiting, presumably at the top of my game, was because if that person doesn't get hired, then what? What recourse do they have? How are they going to be able to navigate for the next? They're just going to keep going back and to the well of that recruiter. The recruiter also can't necessarily get in there and start tweaking some of their value propositions, going in there and telling them, hey, by the way, you're sitting really far down on your screen. You need to sit up, and you need to, be able to drive some level of executive presence. Or, hey, I think that there's a metric underneath that value proposition that could be really stunning and help you be able to make that, discussion more actionable or concise.
Yeah, I hear you. Guys, just really so you know, it doesn't look like comments are coming through on StreamYard right now. So if we miss your comment, our apologies. StreamYard is definitely having some technical screw ups today because I can see some of the comments over on LinkedIn, but they're just not coming through on this feed. So, yeah, it's a really wild place to be. You know, here's my struggle with what you sell.
Mhm.
Is I hate and trying to sell something where you have to convince people to buy. Because if you have to convince people to buy, it's almost an impossible sale, and their expectations come so much higher because they already feel like they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, right? And when you have to teach people the entire process, cool, looks like comments are coming through, of what you sell, it's always going to be a struggle unless you can find the marketplace that you don't have to explain what you do or why they need your services. So if I'm sitting in your shoes and I'm trying to figure out how do I sell this as a service, I think who's pissed off by the recruiters already. I don't want to get them pre-recruiter because pre-recruiter, I'm going to have to explain why recruiters suck. And I'm not bashing recruiters, right? That's not
No,
my
nor
intent,
am I.
right?
I think that what you're saying is very helpful and very true. The truth of the matter is there is no one way. So you need all of these things. You need part of it, you might need a recruiter. Part of it, you might need to apply on a job board. There is no magic bullet here. So it's really important that we also are serving your audience by saying, hey, like, I'm not the Messiah.
For sure.
Right? I'm not like saying like, hey, like everybody should abandon everything and just come and work with a coach, whether it be me or somebody else. What I am saying is in answer to Bernie's question, what is the difference? And also to your point, Donnie, I think it's really important to say the audience is going to continue to use things that they're familiar with. I think that's fair, right? We all have like things that we use. And I think that the opportunity is I don't ever want to convince anybody. I want them to recognize for themselves that they may have some kind of challenge that is not overcomable in some of the more traditional ways.
Most times they won't until they get stacked up to a place where it hurts so bad. So they've got to have to go deal with bad recruiters, right, over time. And then there's a ready-made pain point. So, I mean, I would tell you, I'd be crazy enough, and you're not going to like this, right? But I would be crazy enough to go straight at and start talking about how bad recruiters actually are. Right. And the only reason I suggest that is you pick a massive fight. Now you open yourself up to get a freaking barrage of crap, right? Coming at you, but you're going for the people, not the recruiters, right? You're going for the people looking for the jobs. This puts you in a better play to make a lot more noise. And you actually kind of need the recruiters hating on you. Right. Right. Not saying that you're better than them or anything else. I'm just talking about getting business and getting business coming in easy. Right, is you need to pick a lane and say, this is why you should not use recruiters, right? This is if you really want to start blowing up and getting a bunch of attention on you, because now the recruiters, the rookie recruiters that are just starting out, are going to come back and bash you. Right. Right. So like when HubSpot first came out, and I was back when I was doing sales training, they did this post that says cold calling doesn't work, right? Or cold calling is dead. That's what they said was their campaign. Cold calling is dead. Man, I was a guy teaching cold calls by standing in front of the room. And I took a hook, line, and sinker. I jumped on their post and wrote a barrage of how cold calling's not dead and how it's amazing and it works and everything else. I hit send and went, shit, I just played right into their freaking hands. They needed me to get pissed off over the statement to get them more exposure, because by me, doing it. So part of it is going straight at, this is why you don't need a recruiter. Now, I know in your head, and the seasoned recruiters get it, also understand that it's going to take a lot of different parts to get things done. But your ready-made audience is already pissed off at recruiters, right?
Well, they are, and I think there's two things. They might be pissed off at them, but they don't have to pay out of pocket for them either. So it's a necessary evil, and I want to just bring that up because this is where I think, back to your question, Bernie, what's the real problem here? The real problem, in my mind, in part, right, because it's not just one thing, is that our system tells us that we should just use, good one, Rick Olson, that we should continue to use resources that we don't pay out of pocket for. We should use outplacement firms that are given to us, or, gratis if we are let go. We should use job boards because that also is not an out-of-pocket cost. The irony is, it is costing every hour, every half an hour. In my mind, and I don't want, again, I'm not here to convince anybody. I think that there's a logic and there's an emotion, right? Always with sales, there's a logic and the emotion. The logic is it makes no sense because every week that you're not working is money out the door. It's sunk cost.
Opportunity cost, absolutely.
Right, sunk costs. And those sunk costs look very different on each person. Some of it turns into depression. Some of it turns into low energy, and you can't network because you're caught up. But the emotional piece of having to actually invest in yourself is a different level, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to better understand here.
Yeah, because I don't want to say you're selling to a broke audience, but there is a portion of what you're selling to a broke audience. Yes, they come from a high society executive careers, so they may have money in the bank. But the statistics across the U.S. for sure is like something like 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck. So when people lose these high power executive jobs, not a lot of them have put any money back or away. Right. So which narrows the field of people that could actually afford and pay your services. So my mind, the biggest play you've got to make is how do you, Keith, his whole computer's rebooting. He just sent me a screenshot. His reboot's at 4%. So, but in my mind, you need a mass volume of following of people that, can tell your story. So I'm going to continue to look for ways. How do I pick a fight? Right. An ethical fight. Right. Second thing is, how am I going to go do a PR blitz? Like, how do I get on Good Morning America and talk about the ageism problem? How do I get on the Today Show and talk about ageism, and the horrible show, The View? How do I get on there and talk about ageism? Right. How do I do these things where I get massive exposure? Because the convincing game is never going to win. You're not going to get loud enough on just one social platform. Like you and I both love LinkedIn to death, but LinkedIn, for what you're trying to do, isn't going to be loud enough in a short enough time to hit the volume you're going to need to actually hit, because you're selling to, if there's 100 people that left corporate America, or left the corporate world, or fire anything else and find them on the street, you're selling to 2% of that audience that actually could afford your services because they have money back to the side. And then you, even inside that 2%, you got to find the ones that, aren't going to sit around, because like from a salesperson perspective, a good salesperson is never on the street. Right. So when we were hiring, we would always hire people who were employed by other people, and we'd snatch the best of the best from there. So it would almost be an interesting play. Could you get them before they found themselves on the street?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you're tapping into something that I'm starting to understand, which is the sales cycle, right? How long does it take for somebody to get to that threshold of pain? And I honorably disagree with some of what you're sharing, because this audience of people, they in many cases have severance, so they can have
That's true. That's true.
A cash out. And there are also people who are highly investing very heavily in themselves already. It's part of our screener when they come in. You know, where have you invested before? If they're investing in other things that are improving their professional development, their career development, that's part of it. The pick a fight piece, I have definitely a lot of the posts, and I agree with you also, LinkedIn is only one of several channels. I do believe that that's where the majority of these people are, because there's most people on LinkedIn, if they're at an SVP and above level, are probably making within the range to serve this audience. So I think that it is a self-selected audience in many cases, because it's already professional and they're already talking about jobs and job loss and layoffs and ageism and all the things that are hovering. But I think that the pick a fight piece is something that I have treaded very, I haven't gone like, hey, you recruiter, you suck, but I have also offered that they can only fill one part of the equation. So I think that there's...
Yeah, I like Alexandra's idea there
too.
too. I was kind of mulling that in my head as well. Is there a way to kind of get in front of some of those layoffs with some of these organizations and say, hey, you know, when it happens, if it comes, I want to be this resource for your executives.
And Alexandra, you are so on it right now, because we hear over and over again, and a pretty ample portion of our client base are people who tried outplacement and never had that needle move, because the services for outplacement are not designed to customize. They're just designed to cover primarily the butt of the person, the organization who let them go, and provide them with some very, very low level resources. You should update your resume. You should update your LinkedIn. But how and at that level, depending on what industry you're in, pretty non-effective most of the time. And so people will try that and say, I'm going to try this because I have it, and oftentimes come back to us after a good 3-4 months of testing those waters. So I love that idea. That would be B2B, something we're looking at for 2025 versus B2C. But again, I think that right now we are still in the B2C business.
Yeah. I also like a volume sale. And one thing I wanted to comment, even though they got a severance package, right? In their head, there's no money coming in, right? So you're battling the money's just draining out of the freaking tub, right? With nothing to replace it. So you have to be mindful of that. I love selling to many versus one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I can get in front of a ton of people, I can get a lot more business done. So you said something that's very interesting. They're already investing in themselves, right? I love that. What are they investing in?
A lot of things. They're investing in therapy, in trainers, in nutritionists, in other forms of self-help kinds of things. They are investing in learning. Hopefully they're investing in learning. Many of them will say, well, should I go get my MBA for $250K, or should I go and work through a coach to land this job? And what I'll always say is, hey, I'm all for education, but an MBA isn't necessarily going to give you a slam dunk for your next move.
An MBA is only good for networking. That's it. That's the only thing MBA does.
Networking, it's good for credentials. It can say a lot of things, but I don't think that if you have an atrophied network, it's going to necessarily revitalize it. You're still going to have to come back on LinkedIn. You're still going to have to interview. You're still going to have to negotiate.
Well,
what I want to say is, I think that it's a case, and maybe I'm wrong, right? Is they want to buy, they just don't want to be sold.
Oh, that's 100% the case. That's 100% the case. My point of trying to understand of where they're investing in themselves is, where can you get ahead of all this, right? So if they're investing in nutritionists, how do you do a workshop for all these nutritionists to talk about this, right? Specifically a workshop for nutritionists. Or if it's in the self-help game, can you go to a seminar or host your own self-help seminar, bringing some of your buddies together to bring in this network? So how do you create an army of champions that are already talking and dealing with your ideal client audience? So I would sit down, take the time, make a list of everything they're investing in, and then go, how do we get in front of all of those people that already have the client base?
Yeah, I heard at least a good 5-6 industries there that you just rattled off, Loren, that you should definitely be networking with, right? Having some conversations. And my girlfriend just sent me a text as well. She was like, you should probably be talking to Loren about doing a workshop for some of these folks.
I really like Rick's idea, right?
Yeah, get in front.
Yep.
And I do. I think that this is really smart because a lot of this is perhaps categorized under short-term thinking. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. The turnover in the C-suite is at its fastest rate it's ever been. And every time that those deck chairs are moving, the trickle-down effect could be you.
And ageism's a real thing. Everybody knows that once you get close to 50 and you lose a job, your clock is ticking to get back employed again.
I mean, especially when you're in the C-suite. I think I saw a study recently that said it's like 3 to 5 years is the average time that somebody in the C-suite stays in that position before they get turned over and they're moving on. I mean, unless they're top, of their industry.
I mean, there's no question, different CFOs are longer, but CMOs are shorter. So, there is some, yes, I do. Thank you, Julie. I absolutely do. And it's not just Google alerts. It's pretty much every alert that we have, because companies like Amazon and Dell and all of those companies that are now mandating, and somebody also earlier in this thread was talking about, hey, could you, it was Rick again, maybe tie it into the return to work discussions. Absolutely. And we have been doing that quite a bit because a lot of those people are no longer interested in going back into the office. And the flip side of that is if you are willing, it can also help to leverage, your candidacy because they want you back.
Yeah. I don't know if this will work, but seeing the comments made me think of it. You got the quiet quitters. Could you do something towards, instead of quiet quitting, let's go find you something you enjoy, something you love, something you really want to do, right? To where it's more of a lateral play versus, don't just sneak out because you hate the environment you're in. Let's go find the right environment for you.
Totally. Right. And that alignment piece is absolutely, it is a big deal because a majority of our clients are leaving because there's a lack of value alignment. So they've left either voluntarily or they were like, oh, well, it wasn't such a bad thing because I'd been out of alignment for such a long time. I've been miserable, but I've been hanging around because sheltering was the lesser of two evils.
Right. Well, I mean, it's even like our business, we pick up a lot of the 40 plus, generational year people, and a lot of them are corporate escapees. They left the corporate game, whether on their own devices or, because they lost a career. And instead of going back in corporate America, they just launched their own company.
Right.
And we just win because nobody's out there teaching them how to actually build a business and grow and build a community for them. So, so it's a very interesting play. I love the going after the nutritionists and all those folks and getting out there. Are you hosting any sort of workshops on LinkedIn and stuff, Loren?
No, I'm just coming back. I have a podcast. I'm going to be bringing back LinkedIn Live. I did LinkedIn Live for maybe a year or two before I launched my podcast, and I'm going to be doing that. And some of this is also potentially an opportunity to do some live coaching, and also to bring in people who are in other areas about, where people are seeing that upside ROI with respect to the investments that they've made in themselves.
When you do that, make sure you put the C-suite side of things in there because it's a very, very niche thing for you. There's a lot of people that run these, hey, get a new job communities. And for me, a lot of times when you go to those groups, it's like you're going to an AA. It feels like a bunch of people around smoking a cigarette, freaking down on their luck type of thing. But if you put the C-suite in there, like literally start do you guys constantly say C-suite in your marketing and your advertising?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
C-suite or executive are pretty much interchangeable.
So not always, because the executive for me brings in the directors and stuff. I like the C-suite and staying focused right there. I mean, that's me personally, right? Because I think it tells a story. So if you do a live, it needs to be something C-suite live. Get back in your career to the C-suite,
Good call.
something, right? It just speaks to those people. What other things are they buying? I know they're investing in themselves, but what other things are they buying? Are they getting, trying to advance their careers and the likes? Is there
what are they buying? That's a good question. I have heard many times when I'm speaking to a prospect, we're going to be gone for 2 weeks on vacation.
Yep.
So they're buying vacations. Another thing that they're buying is, I hear people say, well, we have a very expensive lifestyle. So I don't know.
Toys, cars, yeah, right. RVs,
whatever that is. I hear also that they are investing heavily in their kids' education, right? Well, I have this kid in graduate school. I have this kid who's, a protege in this. And so we're, hiring coaches. We're doing things to encourage that, that skill or that talent. So they're buying a lot of things. They're also buying entertainment, expensive meals. They're shopping. So I mean, they have high disposable income, and even though they may be laid off or have chosen
lifestyle
to leave, that is not in hurting their lifestyle to the point where they are they're really making dramatic changes.
So
hold on 1 minute. I gotta help somebody out. I'll be right there.
So the point for me bringing that stuff up is I like to always sell through friends. So if I can find other things that people are buying and things that people are purchasing, then I can figure out who do I know in those industries, who do I know in those that sell that kind of stuff. So maybe it's high-end RVs. Cool. How do I get connected to all the high-end RV sales guys? Maybe it's planes. Maybe it's it's these top travel things. So if it's travel, go meet with somebody like Alex that does big corporate travel. Maybe she's finding herself in some unique conversations. Oh, we lost Loren altogether. No shit. Oh. So, when you understand more about your client base, like Loren seems to do, right, you can find other connections you have that are also selling straight into those people. And it's just easier if somebody else brings you to the table. I like the idea, like the therapist, therapists get into some pretty intimate conversations. So maybe it's a workshop around the idea of therapists. How do you work with the C-suite, when they're going through transition, or how do you get in front of them? Real estate downsizing. That's another good one. So
the other one that I think is really interesting. I had a conversation with an employment attorney. All the folks who are going through whatever their grievances are with respect to their exit strategy or lack thereof, right? Those people are hiring attorneys to go and what the attorneys have told me is, we want to help them get a Phoenix moment. Like, right? We don't want them to be in the legal process for long. We want to get them reemployed. And so that we can have resources that are an upside to help them move on.
Yeah. It's wild thinking about all of this. I don't know what I would do if I were back in like a corporate space and then all of a sudden found myself out on the street trying to figure it all out. So kudos for going and tackling an issue like this. What things have you guys tried so far to really get out there and get you guys names? So you're top of mind for everybody.
So a couple things. I've been a contributor at Fast Company magazine for a couple years. So there is some PR that is there. I've both written articles and I've been part of, other collaborative articles. I have my podcast, which is also another way to reach one-to-many. I like that idea. I learned a lot at your conference about that. So definitely doubling down and looking for other opportunities to drive that exposure. So some of that has recently picked up. We do a lot of work where I am working through other organizations such as Chief or Athena Alliance, where that audience is, again, that's another area that they're investing. They're investing in private networking organizations like Chief, which is an all women's network just for the C-suite, and or Athena Alliance, which is all women in board positions. So those two have been really powerful for us. Those are the main things.
Right. So both of those organizations are kind of after the fact. What organizations are out there before the act? Like, so Chief is typically, they find that when they've gotten out of corporate America.
Not always.
Okay.
Many of them are in positions now, and they are doing what we call building a runway. Right. They can see the writing on the wall. They know that it's happening, or just they're plain old unhappy. They don't need to see a signal. So some of them are, I mean, there is a subset of that networking group that is just dedicated to career transitions, but not all of them are.
Got it.
So some of them are ahead. I agree with that. And other places where we would get ahead of that could be through some of those areas that you talked about, other areas of investment.
Speaking at Vistage groups, I think it's Vistage.
Yes.
Vintage groups could be another play. There's people that, like, with Vistage alone, that's their entire income is just speaking at Vistage. I mean, there's like 400 Vistage groups around the US that you can go speak at, and they're all paid gigs once you get approved. I would be thinking through what other organizations, what other places are bringing all of these executives together on a regular basis, and how do I find those? Like, what's associations are they a part of, and the likes. Even going to speaking at something like HR Southwest or SHRM, and coming in and speaking about ageism will likely get you up on their stage. I don't know how many people are coming in and speaking about it. And so sometimes it's understanding the associations, the places themselves, and go, what's the thing they're not talking about that they need to be, that my company can solve that issue for them.
Yeah.
To get you out front. Like, podcast guesting is going to be okay for you. I don't think you're going to find a lot of your markets heavy into podcast and listening to them. So, but I do think the news outlet, media outlets, if you can get on the news channels, especially the local news type things, where you get a better shot of starting building that brand up, it's going to work really well. Bernie, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I think PR is press releases are a great idea. Kind of self-servingly, but I definitely think that you should be doing some type of workshops as well, Loren. Getting in with all of the networking groups and getting on their stages, I think, is fantastic as well. But create your own stage as well, right? Do some active marketing out to those folks. Julie says AARP.
That's an interesting play.
That's I
am a member of AARP, and I'm starting to build out relationships at the Association for Aging, and a lot of those are doing workshops and events. So that's really, you guys are right on it.
Yeah. Oh, it's an interesting model that it's kind of cool to wrap your head around, as you see. And now I get a lot better understanding of who your client base and who I should consider introducing you to. Though the Lon Stronheim, does that name ring a bell at all? LONS. So Lon's got a organization called Something 40. Big on LinkedIn, huge community of people, because there's a lot of science around at the age of 40 is when people start thinking, okay, what the hell do I actually want to be when I grow up? Right, that's where they say midlife crisis and all that stuff comes in, which we found at midlife crisis is typically just burnout of some sort along the way. Normal 40, that's the name of Lon's group. Lon has a lot of people that are these executives that, you know, are trying to decide what's next, because most of his people are the people that ran 1,000,000 miles an hour, got to the top, achieved all this stuff, and are like, neglected their families, you know, they didn't do all the things. So it might be a really cool conversation for the two of you guys to.
Yeah, no, is LON.
Yeah, LON. I'll make the introduction on LinkedIn too.
Wonderful.
Lon Stroshine, something like that. I can't pronounce his last name. Stroshine. So, good dude. He's out of Florida. We met because of podcasting, you know, like you do. So, but we've thrown a bunch of stuff at you, Miss Loren. I'm kind of curious, what are some of your takeaways, thoughts, and things you want to run with from here?
So I think that the things that really resonate with me, obviously, are going to be places where I am not right now, right? To look for those newer opportunities. I love Serena's idea about vestige. That's not vintage, but vestige. But that's a good call. I like that a lot. And I also really like the idea of press releases and really building up that piece open to. I have just hired a TEDx coach for 2025. So I'll be working on that. That's another place, but also in addition to that, that can really, I think, work well and in partnership with some good PR.
Oh, love it. Love it. Yeah. I'm seeing you on local news and stuff is going to be the biggest play. You definitely have the passion for this. And it's going to show up when the reporter hopefully tries to pick a fight with you. You'll be able to take it on just fine. So I think that would be awesome. So that would be awesome. Bernie, let's talk about upcoming events. What do you have coming down?
Thank you both so much. And Bernie, I'd love to talk to you. And thanks for the introduction, Donnie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stick around. Stick around. We'll make sure we send you off well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a light week this week, actually, Donnie. I have no events. Next week, however, I have Disruptor Discussions. It is the season finale with Jennifer Fry, and she's bringing in, I believe it's Loren Moon. Let me check. I'll pop it into the chat here in a second. Just one event in the next 2 weeks.
Nice. I've got a whole bunch coming up. So on the 15th, we're doing for SEN members, we have Finding Your Champions. It's an acronym about actually how to find all the people that can really be the champion of your business. Really, really cool. On the 17th, for the SEN members, we're doing Unlocked Conversations. So how do you get into a lot better conversations? On the 24th, Juggling the Chaos. So how do you do all the things while running a business? I always think of the damn clown with all the spinning plates up. That's kind of like being a business owner, hoping one of the damn plates don't fall. The 29th, the 29th, we're doing sales questions. How to actually get into the right sales questions. On the 31st, we are doing recovery from business mistakes. So that'll be really rad. It's a fun conversation. So a lot of things coming up. We also have the Badass Business Summit, September of 25, 17th. Yeah, 17th through the 19th. Tickets are on sale, badassbusinesssummit.com. So those are up and going. And there you go. Just awesome times and very, very cool. We may have to move venues this year, but the dates will be the same because we are moving tickets pretty fast on the next upcoming Badass Business Summit. So any other and Stevie is in the middle of the Fleetwood project, so Keith and I are going to be in the next play, so that should be funny and interesting. I don't know what the hell we're doing. She hasn't fully told us. So, but we're going to be on stage at some point. We might be trees, Julie. That might be a thing. That's what we keep joking with her with, because neither one of us can act or sing. So, Sean, you better bring your ass to the summit. So, really, really good time. Well, Loren, thank you so very much for joining us, love. I love that you were tackling this mission. I love that you were helping these people out there. How do people get in touch with you? How do they find you if they want more information?
Fantastic. And thanks. Thanks for asking and thanks for having me. Easiest way is always LinkedIn, right? Because I'm there a lot and all of my details, links, etc., background are all in there, along with, I think it's like over 100 testimonials. So if you want to see what other people are saying, that's all there. And then the other place directly would be Loren at portfoliorocket.com.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you again for joining us here. Guys, we do this every Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central, where we hang out. Usually there's more than just me and Bernie and Peyton hanging out here with our guests, but, you know, technology and Stevie's still trying to get her voice back. So, but you guys go have...
we love technology, don't we?
Oh, God. I'm telling you, today it's been a beast. So, but y'all go...
Of course.
So, y'all have an amazing week. Stay out of trouble. Love you, mean it.
So much. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Talk to you soon, Lauren.